It's Nolan. What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here. All right, I'm gonna let y'all know up front. Today we're gonna be talking about something different from what I generally do on my channel. Today we're gonna be talking about supporting black business. Does it actually lead to black wealth or economic power in the black community? We've got this professor by the name of Dr. Jared Ball, if I'm not mistaken. He's a college professor at Morgan State University. He's got a new book out, but he's also been doing some seminars and interviews and, just public speaking engagements where he's been voicing his opinion about how us going into businesses, starting businesses, supporting black businesses, etc., he does not believe that it actually stimulates the economy for us in any real way to bring about any real impactful change. Now, I know this is going to be a trigger for a lot of people, especially black viewers. I mean, that's typically who I'm talking to anyway. I'm going to express where I agree, where I disagree, etc. But I'm going to play some of the footage of him speaking on this so that we could kind of have a discourse about it. I want to be able to have real conversations that don't always focus on the sensationalism of celebrity lifestyle. I think that that can be a bit troubling. We see a lot of celebrities crashing out and melting down. So let's just take a breather and talk about real issues. You know what I'm saying? So here's part one, and it's called The Myth and Propaganda of Black Buying Power with Dr. Jared Ball. I also believe that's the name of his book.
You can see the media, the environment collapsing on a community, and you get this echo chamber everywhere you go of these beautiful, well-spoken, talented black people saying, yo, circulate your dollar, invest. Support our businesses, and we will get there, and then we can get the political power. And that's, that's exactly the opposite. That's not how anyone got wealthy. That's not how anyone with wealth got wealthy. But they tell us, no, start a food truck. We come through and wipe out a whole community with guns and weapons and viruses and diseases, and we'll enslave people and colonize and take all the land and force you to work. We do that. Right. You start a food truck and circulate your dollar and get your financial literacy together. Then one day when you catch up to us, you can engage the political arena.
All right, so that's part one, right? There's two parts of this that are circulating on social media. And in this clip, he's basically honing in on, I guess what some people would call the talented 10th theory, right? Where 10% breakthrough. These are the special people, quote unquote, the intelligent ones, the scholars, right? The talented people, the ones that can sing, dance, become celebrities, right? You get those people, and they're basically giving out this messaging that you too can do it, right? This seems to be like one of the issues that folks take issue with in terms of like the Earn Your Leisures, the 19 Keys, the powerful black voices of today, the Sean Combs, the Jay-Z's even, right? A lot of people say most average people will never get to that economic status, but y'all sell people the dream that they can get there. And as long as you're selling them the dream, that means that they're going to invest their actual hard-earned money into what it is that you're doing, whether it be your music, whether it be your seminar workshop, whether it be whatever it is that you conjured up. So he's saying that's not how anyone actually got wealthy, right? There's a lot more things that come into play that contributes to their actual wealth. Basically saying it's an echo chamber of inspiration and feel-good content that makes you believe you can do it, which everyone needs motivation. But then a lot of people find themselves still in the same space years later. So I can't say that I totally disagree with him on that. We're going to have to go a little bit further and see what else he has to say.
There's nothing wrong with supporting black business. It's just not going to solve the problem of poverty and inequality and wealth. I tried to deal with this a little bit, but the short version is black businesses target black people. Black people don't have any money. From 1992 to 2012, black people created 2 million plus businesses and the capture of the national sales revenue went down from a paltry 1% to like 0.3%. The point is that black people can't create businesses in the sectors of the economy that generate real wealth. Black businesses don't have enough to hire many people. They don't have benefits. They're not paying people. In fact, most black businesses pay people below the average national salary. And again, because and we see it all the time. This is why, and people get mad when they see these people, they get to a certain size and then they sell out, or they sell to the white business that buys them up. Well, that's ultimately what you want in the capitalist economy. That's the goal, to get big enough to a bigger, because you can't expand.
It's not that supporting black business is wrong, right? If I want to buy a cookie or a chocolate or a candle, sure, I prefer if I can support a business run by my people. I think the danger, as you say in your book and in your work, is believing that that's our path to black liberation, right? Like we can't buy black our way to freedom, which is part of the danger of this propaganda.
So I still don't fully disagree with this guy. I think he makes a lot of great points. He talks about the fact that, I mean, he used some old statistics from 1992 to 2012. I would estimate that the statistics are probably somewhere in the same vicinity in 2023, 24. But he said that, black people went from, they created 2 million plus businesses, and the capture of the national sales revenue actually went down from 1% to 0.3%, which means the more black businesses that come into fruition, the less spending power we actually have, because now people are so focused on creating their business, investing into themselves, that they're not actually investing into the community or the actual greater economy. That's an interesting standpoint. And on a smaller level, right, if we take this from a macro vision to a micro vision, I can understand exactly what he's saying, right? I think that the problem with business, and this is the same problem with music and entertainment and everything that we think is going to get us out, is that once a certain group of people get hip to this ideology, you now end up with more saturation, oversaturation, more competition. Like when this guy says, if I wanted to buy a candle or a cookie or, some of these basically unimportant items, he would rather buy them from a black business or a black person rather than someone from outside of his culture. And that's the other guy that's interviewing him. I forget his name that said that, but basically they're demeaning black people down to candle makers, cookie makers, food truck, type of thing. And I personally don't think that that's okay. Again, he has great points. He says, when you look at white supremacy, they come in with weapons, guns. They plow people out of their natural habitat to take over. They militarize your area. They debilitate people, take over the area, and then force you to rebound under new rules. You look at it from that perspective, you see how much power we don't have, because black people, there is no uniform for all of us. We don't connect on the same ideologies, beliefs, religion. Some are nonviolent, some are pro-violent. All of these things are sources of conflict, which means that we have no organized agenda, right? We can't just start plowing down neighborhoods in white areas and rebuilding. We don't have the political power to do so. We don't have the government backing us to do that, and trying to do some shit like that, you're going to get your ass sent to life in prison for hate crimes. So Dr. Jared Ball is not wrong. It's a tough pill to swallow. It's hard truths. It doesn't make you feel good. It may crush some people's motivation. And ultimately, one thing that I personally have had to do and make peace with is that I'm not moving on behalf of my culture. Okay? I don't speak for my culture. I don't speak on behalf of my culture. I speak on behalf of myself. At most, I speak on behalf of my family, but there's multiple perspectives that even come from that microcosm. Trying to do it for the culture is a losing game. It's a losing battle. You need money, you need resources, you need ammo, you need soldiers, you need people that are okay with not being on your same level, which you could look at any friend group and see how that becomes an issue. You want to be seen as equals among people that you are in your peer group. So there's no way to really change that dynamic without some extreme changes. So I don't think that Dr. Ball is wrong. I know there's a lot of people out there that are mad. It's circulating on social media. The clip is going viral. But honestly, the best thing you could possibly do is look out for yourself and your loved ones. This is coming from somebody who used to look at things like, oh, we got to hold black people to a higher standard. We got to be the moral compass of everybody. We got to do this. We got to do that. You know what I'm saying? I even used to say black people are afraid of going back to the struggle, which is why we can't make any progress in this country or in this capitalistic society. Because we're working too much on our own vested interests personally, we can't make decisions for the greater good of the culture. Now I understand why that's never going to happen, because no one is going to sacrifice their home. No one is going to sacrifice their vehicle, food, clothing, and or shelter in order to do things on the greater good of an entire people. Not if you're going to lose out and be on the street with your immediate family. Doesn't make any sense. That doesn't mean you turn your back on black people. It doesn't mean that you hate black people or that you don't want to see black people excel. It just means that you shouldn't probably take on this whole savior complex thinking that you're going to be the one to change the world. And those that do, kudos to you. There's a lot of people that work in nonprofit organizations, people that work in charitable causes, people that do things out of the goodwill of their heart. And there's a lot of people that suffer greatly while partaking in those professions. There's a lot of people who could make double or triple what they're making if they were to just leave those sectors, which means that they could do so much more for themselves, their family, and those that they care about, but they choose to take on, greater issues because it feels better for them. And that's kind of just the crux of existing in capitalist society, making good decisions, operating with a heart for other people honestly gets you nowhere. And I won't say nowhere, but it doesn't get you to your desired destination most times. Because at the end of the day, even the most content people, even the happiest people on the surface, everybody would be happier with a fatter bank account, right? And until that is no longer an issue, we're going to keep reliving the same shit over and over again. So again, I don't feel like Dr. Jared Ball is wrong. I just don't like that he's diminishing the businesses that we create within the black community. I think that on one hand, there is a lot of boutiques. There is a lot of cookies, food trucks. There is a lot of candle making, soap making. Some of these businesses have very low barriers of entry, which means that it's easier to start up, has less startup costs. But a lot of people evolve from those things as well. A lot of people go out and do the quote unquote selling out that you're talking about, where they create a product and eventually it may get bought out by Johnson & Johnson, or it may get a big investment from white corporate America. Product may change after they get a hold of it. But there's plenty of people out there that are making these moves, and I don't think you can fault them either. Unfortunately, looking through the gaze of what he's speaking on here, I just think, again, if we could just make wise decisions for ourselves, our families, those that we care about, and have some level of trust that those in our society, those in our community are doing the same for themselves and their loved ones, I think that's going to be the best collective bargaining agreement for all of us. It's like, yo, do you, I do me. Don't cross me. Don't try to rob me. You know what I'm saying? If you're going through a rough situation, there's outlets that may be able to help you, but you don't got to go through me in order to find your success. And I think if we all can have that minimum level of agreement between us, that in itself would help bridge the wealth power gap, right? Because one of the leading issues that we face is that we're stealing from each other. We're killing each other. We're taking resources from our own communities and not reinvesting them into the community because nobody really has an interest in reinvesting. And at a certain point with this whole information age, the information is no longer going to hold the same amount of value. There's going to be too many people sharing it. There's going to be too many people putting price tags on it, irrational price tags on it, might I add. So at the end of the day, if you're not a self-motivated person, if you're not a go-get-it type of person, and the prospect of you doing something for your own lineage, your own household, those to come after you, if that's not enough for you to get up and figure things out, you're going to get left behind. And I think that is the ultimate talking point. And you don't got to listen to Dr. Jared Ball to come to that conclusion. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough loan, grant, funding opportunities that are made specifically for black people. It seems that the big thing right now is businesses choosing to invest into BIPOC, you know what I'm saying? Or a lot are even choosing to invest exclusively into black women, as that is a trend, you know. So there's not a lot of outlets out there that are saying, hey, black men out there, if you want to be the head of your household, you know, and you want to launch a business, we'll invest into you. We don't see a lot of that happening either, to be honest. And that's not speaking from a patriarchal perspective. It's just as somebody who actually goes out here and looks for these opportunities. So, to be honest, I see more stuff that's aimed at black women, more so than just the entire black culture in general. So we're fighting against a lot of different structural complications. Now, for anyone that wants to see this conversation in its entirety, I know y'all feeling like, man, he probably on some Uncle Ruckus shit. I definitely would say check it out for yourself. It's a 2-hour discussion on YouTube. It's titled "The Myth and Propaganda of Black Buying Power" with Dr. Jared Ball, excuse me. Also, Black Men Build Mass Call number 29. So it's 2 hours. You could check it out on your own time. You could space it out within a matter of days if that's what you're into. And I'm just going to read off Dr. Ball's credentials before I go. So he is an American academic and political activist. He's a professor of communication studies and Africana Black studies at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. He also is the host of the podcast I Mix What I Like. He's the co-founder of Black Power Media. He was also a part of the 2008 presidential election, where he sought the nomination of the Green Party of the United States before eventually dropping out and endorsing Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney. Okay, so he wanted to be a presidential candidate back then. At this point, that's all I have for you on the subject. Be sure to let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have some other talking points that you can offer to the conversation? Do you have actual solution-based ideas that can create a better pathway to success, not just for one, but for all, or for many, because not all will make it? But let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell for all updates, and I will see you guys on the next one. Much love and respect. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming, I swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. But I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross I'm out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.